I see that hundreds of Arkansas farmers are asking for a government bailout. I've heard about the soybean farmers as well, based off of the tariffs. I've seen the farmers in other red lead states suffering the consequences of these tariffs. And to them, I say they have to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. We don't support socialism. This is a free market economy. They're over here looking for bailouts at the expense of American taxpayers. No one in this country is going to get a free pass. They should just work harder. And they should maybe cut back on expenses then. Maybe they should budget. Maybe they should stop eating out and having all this damn avocado toast.
So I saw that the soybean farmers in the state of Arkansas are having a find out phase. And you know what I hate to say? I told you so. No, seriously, I'm really sick and tired of the fact that the left keeps having to say, I told you so. Because we didn't want anybody to suffer, okay? We voted for everybody to survive and thrive. And you voted for the suffering of other people, and here we are. You are actually the one who is paying the price and suffering. Because you can't sell your soybeans to China because what's that? Tariffs. You can't get that new farming equipment that you needed because of why? Tariffs. Didn't the experts tell you that? Didn't people warn you this would happen? But no, you let your internalized hate, racism, and misogyny override literal facts that were right there in front of your face that made you vote against your own best interests. And here you are, expecting a government bailout yet again. You didn't want anybody else to get government bailouts. That's socialism, and you don't like that. So what makes you so different and so deserving when you voted against government money going to anybody who has stumbled upon a hard time? Why do you get it? What makes you better than other people? Again, I don't like that we are having to say, I told you so. Okay, I wanted you to do well. I wanted you to survive and thrive. But this is what you voted for.
Ladies and gentlemen, Arkansas, much like every other state, is on the verge of agricultural disaster. We need to come together and send aid to Arkansas before they collapse. But before we do, I want to know how they voted. Interessante. Well, folks, nothing to see here. This place got 100% what it voted for. And that's it.
Did you guys hear? Hundreds of struggling Arkansas farmers are asking the federal government to save them. Let's see. Isn't this what people call socialism? Wouldn't this be them getting free handouts? Thought they were against things like that. I don't know, Arkansas farmers and farmers in general. I don't know. Actions have consequences. I don't know what to tell you. I guess you're going to have to do what the rest of us have to do. Pick up the pieces and make it work. How you can make it work. That's all I got for you. All right, guys.
Alright, guys, welcome back to Hosting Stories KE. And our road trip, our FAFO road trip has just landed us in Arkansas. Arkansas farmers are crying. The other day, we literally saw them going to church, praying and asking God to help them because there is nothing they can do. After that, they are asking the federal government to bail them out because they are confessing that they've never seen such bankruptcy before. They've never expected these tariffs were going to affect them too because they voted for the yellow man. They are saying 1 out of 3 farmers in Arkansas are going to lose everything in the next coming month because the mistake they made was just voting for a billionaire, voting for a person who doesn't care about their interest after he landed into that seat. And these Arkansas farmers are literally asking the federal government to bail them out. They are asking for handouts. They are asking for socialism, a thing of which they were against. And now they have come out together and they are really begging the federal government to bail them out, to help them, to send emergency funding. Now, this is a very interesting plot twist because these are the same people who voted for this federal government. These are the same people who voted for this yellow man. And when these policies were there, they were literally supporting these tariffs. They were supporting these policies. But now they are saying China does not want to buy the soybeans anymore because they are afraid of the tariffs. These tariffs are affecting these Arkansas farmers literally. Because right now, China is not buying their soybeans. Arkansas is producing soybeans. Soybeans, majority of the consumers are China. And China have now relocated to Uruguay and Argentina to purchase soybeans there because of their imposed tariffs of these soybeans that the Arkansas farmers are producing. And now the Arkansas farmers are saying, we are literally going bankrupt. We beg you, Trump, for Christ's sake, we voted for you. Come and rescue us. Come to our rescue. We need those hands out. We need those emergency funding because in the next coming months, all of us, we will be bankrupt. We've never seen these things before in 39 years. We've been doing this in many governments, but we've never seen such a thing. But it is very funny how their fellow white people have come forward to criticize them, to remind them that we warned you. We warned you, please don't vote for this yellow man. He will do this. You will go bankrupt in his government. You will suffer under his policies. You will suffer under his tariffs, but they didn't want to listen. In this video, I want us to watch some of the hilarious comments from the white people and those people who did not support this regime, reminding these Arkansas farmers that we really warned you that these things were going to happen. But now you didn't want to listen. You went ahead and voted for this government. Now please stay quiet and enjoy the consequences of your votes, because this is what you sow and this is what you reap. Check this video out and then I'll be giving my commentaries at the end.
Right now, we're in a very dire situation. September's upon us, harvest is starting in the deep south, and we have 0 bushels of soybeans on the books to be sold to China for this current crop that's about to come out of the field.
This is what happens when a bunch of entitled, MAGA voting Americans stand on a box and push isolationist policy, like tariffs. You guys said that all the other countries will be affected by these tariffs, but we as Americans are untouchable. Let's isolate America. We don't need any other countries. Let's put America first. Well, the soybean farmers who overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump fucked around and found out that that just isn't the case for them. Most of their soybean crops are bought by China because America does not consume that many soybeans. They rely on China to buy the soybean crops. China earlier this year came out and said, ew, we don't want your soybean crops. You can sell them to someone else because we're going to go to Argentina to get ours. That's exactly what they did. And like you just heard the soybean farmer say, they have nothing on the books. They have nobody to buy their soybean crops and they are SOL for it. I don't know, maybe you should have put America first and grown corn. You should have switched to corn, I guess. You chose to grow soybeans, which just quite simply, I guess, is not putting America first. You should have chosen potatoes. If you wanted to go full isolationist and vote for a man who wanted to isolate us and, like, throw away our relationships with foreign nations, that's what you chose. And now no one wants to buy your crops. Crops that you grew knowing that they needed to be exported, yet voted for Trump anyways. Classic.
Farmers in crisis align way out the door of the Woods Chapel Baptist Church in Brooklyn as hundreds of farmers from not only northeast Arkansas, but from across the state came to voice their concerns about the current state of farming. Representatives from U.S. Congressman Rick Crawford, U.S. Senator Tom Cotton, and U.S. Senator John Bozeman's offices were in attendance to hear those concerns. Among those farmers in attendance was a farmer in Woodruff County, Chris King. He told me this was his 39th harvest, and he has never seen it as bad as this.
And I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
For King, the main problem starts with the fact that they can't sell for profit.
I just would like to see somebody help us get our markets back. We need our exports, and we just need to be paid for what we do. And that's not happening. And we're in real trouble.
So the people who say no handouts just lined up for a handout. Now tell me why farmers in Arkansas are standing outside with their hands out again, begging Uncle Sam for money. See, when it's regular people struggling, rent too high, groceries too ridiculous, can't afford health care, the answer is always from these people: stop complaining, stop asking for handouts, and pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Farmers in Arkansas are crying out to the feds for stimulus money like it's open mic night. And look, I get it, because times are hard everywhere. But when you plant your crops, raise your cattle, take on the risks of farming, I mean, wasn't that a personal business decision? So why is it on me and you to make sure that that decision keeps paying out? Because see, when you and I make bad decisions, government doesn't cut us a check to make it right for us. Now, let's connect the dots here a little bit. These are the same people voting for the same politicians who say government is the problem. Yet as soon as the tractors stop running and their profits dry up, government magically turns into a solution for them. Ain't that funny and ironic? The question is, do we owe farmers any help? Or do they need to practice what they preach? Figure it out. Tighten that belt. Leave taxpayers out of it. Because last I checked, it's really not our problem to fix somebody else's gamble.
You guys have got to see this video. So farmers in Arkansas have gathered together and they're praying to God because Donald Trump is literally destroying their farms and there's nothing else they can do.
Farmers, in my opinion, dear Lord, and it's only my opinion, are closer to thee than anyone else on this earth because we deal with your earth every day. Dear Lord, we're hurting, dear Lord. We can't help what's happened to us.
It's so sad. These farmers are having their entire livelihoods destroyed by a billionaire who doesn't care about anything but making himself richer. Under the Trump administration, multiple different programs set up by Biden to help support small and regional farming have been froze or cut. For example, the USDA's Regional Food Business Centers program. It was meant to boost local supply chains through grants and support, and now it's been terminated. Farmers who were approved for this funding and expecting to get it still have not got their money. They've been left stranded. The Trump administration has cut over 600 USDA grants. These programs benefited farmers, sustainable agriculture, and food security. Organizations across rural America lost funding, forcing them to lay off staff and abandon projects. All of this funding has been cut while the big beautiful bill boosted crop insurance and subsidy payouts, of course benefiting larger industrial farms and hurting the small farms. Put all of that together and it's no wonder Arkansas farmers are praying. They've not just lost support, they've been set up to fail.
2 days ago in Arkansas, farmers gathered together from all across the state to pray and speak with their leaders because they are drowning. This is exactly what happens when you put your faith in a billionaire. A billionaire who can't control his piss, his bowels. He has to rape women. He's a felon and a con man. These God-fearing men voted for him anyways. They didn't care that their wives were going to lose health care. They didn't care that their daughters were going to be suppressed and oppressed. They didn't care that they were going to try to take away women's voting rights. Here we are. And y'all laughed when we told you. But we warned you. Y'all were telling us it was fake news, calling it fake news. Well, bet it ain't so fake now, is it? It's affecting their land, their home, and their pockets. Guess what? We've all got to suffer with them because they all handed the keys to a grifter, and now he's going to drive the car right off the goddamn cliff. You voted for this, you prayed for this, and now we're all going to bleed with you.
It's Joe from Georgia. So another state is in the news about collapsing their farming industry, and it's the great state of Arkansas. They held meetings in Arkansas this week with the farmers because of the dire situations that they are in, because folks, they're not being able to sell their products. They have money in the ground, but they can't get any money out because the United States government, which had guaranteed them certain things, were lost in the big beautiful bill. Well, in these meetings, it has been said that if an emergency bailout, which is what the farmers are asking for, folks, they're asking for a bailout in Arkansas, that 1/3 of them will file bankruptcy. hundreds of millions of dollars going into bankruptcy. So you're going to have these people who generational wealth will be totally wiped off the map in the state of Arkansas. But here we go again, another state that overwhelmingly supported the president in his race. And believe it or not, there are still 70% of those farmers will say they believe in the tariffs that are putting them into bankruptcy. Folks, when those type of things are happening in your life, you've got to ask yourself, would I have thought this way 10 years ago? And I'm going to say pretty easy, the answer is no. You're not going to worship the thing that's bankrupting you.
FAFO is still going strong, y'all. I live in Arkansas, an agricultural, very red, full-on MAGA state. Sarah Huckabee Sanders is our governor, and the state has gone to the felon-in-chief every time he has run for president. But racism is hella expensive, as white Arkansas farmers are now finding out. They are reaping what they have sown, pun intended.
Well, good evening to you. We begin tonight with hundreds of struggling Arkansas farmers pleading for emergency federal funding amid a farm economy crisis.
Oh, so they're asking for handouts.
Farmers and federal officials
Okay.
today in Brooklyn in northeast Arkansas and has more tonight. Andrew. Almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year. And it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Not to mention bad weather earlier in the year.
This time last year, the rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up, so after a horrible year last year where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Though President Trump's big, beautiful bill provided a much-needed update to safety net subsidies for farmers, they won't see those federal dollars until late next year, by which time some have projected that as many as 1/4 or even 1/3 of Arkansas farmers will face bankruptcy or be forced to leave the business amid the crisis the American ag economy
Oh, well.
is currently in. It's already taken its toll this year.
Six-generation farmer report, and we made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation farmer. 5 of my customers have committed suicide. That's how serious that this is.
Today, Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Couple of things I want to point out about that story. First of all, if you notice in that meeting, all the farmers were white. Arkansas does have black farmers, but like black farmers in this nation historically, they were denied much of the government assistance that white farmers have enjoyed and have grown rich off of for generations. So black farms, even though they too are being affected by the economy, have had to become over the years much more self-sufficient and reliant on their community. Another thing I want to point out is that Arkansas farmers were also part of that class action lawsuit that was filed by white farmers from all across the nation because they objected to the government offering a $4 billion stimulus package to black farmers and farmers of color to help them in 2021. And the basis for their lawsuit, they claimed that helping black farmers and farmers of color was unconstitutional, and reverse discrimination. These folks are getting exactly what they voted for due to their racism and bigotry. And I am so glad for it. And I do hope that each and every one of them files bankruptcy, have to sell all or most of their land for pennies on the dollar. And I hope that black farmers are able to swoop in and purchase up much of that land. This is their just desserts.
You know, for me, it doesn't matter if you are black, brown, American, or an immigrant living in America. The Trump's tariffs, Trump's policies, Trump's law will affect everyone, whether you voted for him or no. But now, here is the plot twist again. The people who are complaining, much complaining every day in the internet, they are Trump supporters. They are people who voted for Trump. They are people who voted for this government. They are the ones who complain a lot, and they are the ones who needs help a lot. Let's take Arkansas, for example. About 784,000 plus voters voted for Trump. Literally, it is in the internet, it is everywhere. They voted for Trump. Majority of the people voted for this government. They expected that when these tariffs and these policies were being enforced, there will be exemptions. But no, they are the mostly affected. The same people who voted for them, they are not begging like beggars. They are begging the federal government to come to their rescue. They are demanding for those handouts, a thing of which we know very well Arkansas doesn't do this. They came out and said we don't want this, but now they want socialism. that is so diabolic. That is so so diabolic. I think we didn't expect at all. Yeah, but now they are the ones who are crying. They even went to church, prayed to God, and asked God to rescue them because they don't know what they don't know what they will do. But unfortunately, when they were voting, when they went to vote, they didn't even ask God for wisdom so that God can open their eyes to see. God was even using these people to warn them, don't vote for this man. He will impose these tariffs, and these tariffs will really affect you the most. But they didn't want to see. And now they are reminding God that we need your help. I mean, come on. He's even getting tired of you guys. You know, the people really warned you. They told you these things were going to happen. But now you didn't want to listen. And now when reality has striken, you are here going to church, coming into numbers. And what's funny is that majority of them, they are white. Actually, most of them, those who are in that church, they are white. Have you seen a black person there? No, I haven't seen one. Yeah, because the black people are used to this. Black farmers are used to this. And now they were spoon-fed with everything. Equipment, resources, funds, workers, everything they were spoon-fed. And now that everything that was spoon-fed is nowhere. Now they've realized that Trump has taken everything from us. And when this thing continues, we are going to lose it. We have to come out together as Arkansas farmers and go ask the federal government for help, because in the next coming month, all of us will lose everything. Yeah? But for me, I can just say this is something that you voted for. You really knew these things were going to happen. We even saw some of you supporting it. But now, reality is here. The FO bus is at your stage. Now you should just board that bus and let's go and find out, because you are suffering with us. We warned you because we knew these things were going to happen, but now you refuse to listen, and now you are welcomed to this bus. What happened to making America great again? Yeah. So the thing is, if the people warned you and you didn't want to listen, you should be crying in silence, because the information out there is that these people tried to really tell you that the yellow man was going to impose these tariffs, and these tariffs were going to affect you. You didn't want to listen. Now you are reaping where you planted, you are reaping where you sow. You are literally receiving the fruits of your labor, the fruits of your votes, the consequences of your actions. You made that bed, then you should sleep on it, because these people really warned you, you refused to listen, and now cry in silence, because what then do you want them to do? Anyway, those are just my commentaries, guys. You do tell me what you think in the comment section. What message do you have for these Arkansas farmers? Because you told them, they refused to listen. What are your message? Tell them in the comment section. Let's have a discussion, and I hope to see you in my next episode. In the meantime, subscribe and adios.